Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm back here again. It's still summertime and I'm still doing summertime trapping projects. And today's project I'm going to be trying to take you through is how to add a wooden skirt board to the end of a wire stretcher. I got this idea just by looking off of the NAFA website, and they showed recommendations for adding a skirt board to a Raccoon wire stretcher. However, I thought I'm going to try to add one to a Raccoon stretcher, one to a Fox stretcher, and the wind's blowing pretty good if I'm shaking around here. The camera's moving. I'm going to add one to a Coyote stretcher, all three, Coon, Fox, and Coyote. I'm going to do all three because a lot of my stretchers at the end, especially like Coyote stretchers, they'll stretch out I think it's a number 6 stretcher. They'll come clear to the end of them, 5 feet long. And they flare out to almost 11 inches wide, and the NAFA recommendations are I think 9 inches wide, so they come down, you might have them 9 inches wide, then right at the end they flare it out and stuff. So I'm just going to give it a whirl and see how it goes. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you one of my completed ones. I finished one up here to show you what it looks like done. You might be able to just look at that and just go for it, or you might think, hey, that looks stupid, I'm not even going to try that. So I'll show you one of the finished products. I'll show you some of the tools that you need, and I'll show you some of the little tweaks I made from the NAFA website itself. So let's get to looking at some of the stuff here, and hope you enjoy what you see. Okay, so here's one of my the finished product of this is a number 4. I think it's a Duke number 4 stretcher. This is what I did a lot of my Fox on last year. Here's what it looks like in the end. Pretty much the bottom of the stretcher gets cut off, holes get drilled into here on the east side of the wood, and then I just used, on the NAFA website they recommend using pipe strap or something. I just used Gorilla Tape, pretty strong stuff. I'll see how it works. And so that's the finished product right there. So you might look at it and think it looks ridiculous, or you might think it looks pretty cool. So if you think it's cool looking, keep watching. Okay, so some of the tools you'll need. You'll obviously need like either a table saw or a circular saw to cut your pieces of wood out. It's nice to have a hammer, tape measure, pair of pliers for bending some wire. I'll show you what they're for, and some bolt cutters or something else, either maybe like a cutoff tool or something for your wire stretcher itself. And a drill with a 1/4 inch bit. Now, some of the little changes I made from the NAFA site, they just showed just taking a hunk of 3/4 stock wood and cutting it off and just attaching it right to the stretcher. If you do that, these would knock these out really fast. But I don't mind tinkering around with stuff, so I actually cut grooves here for the wire to fall into, and it sets in there very nice. I just pictured the wire stretcher rolling off to the side and stuff and being a pain. So I cut a groove, cut a slot in there for the wire to fit into, and you'll see that. You can see it on the finished product here, probably, hopefully. You can see it fit down right inside of here. And I tapered these down a little bit. Now that I did use I have a little power hand planer, and just taper these ends down a little bit. If I had a full planer, I'd probably just plane the whole thing down to about 5/8 of an inch thick, but I just wanted to taper those down a little bit so it didn't have that real sharp boxed end of the wood there. Alright, so that's pretty much what the blocks of wood look like. For the Raccoon stretcher, they recommend it should be 7.5 inches wide at 30 inches down from the tip, and that's the one we'll take care of. I'll put that together right here while we're looking at it. For the Fox stretcher that I did, it was 7 inches wide at 25 inches down from the tip. So basically I measured 25 inches down from the tip, and my piece of wood sticks out here a couple of inches, no big deal. And I drilled my holes in here to get the correct length. The Coyote stretcher, if you look at the actual stretching for making a wooden stretcher, they're 9 inches wide at 39 inches down from the tip for a large Coyote. And around here, that's pretty much everything stretches out to be triple extra large. And here's what I'll show you what I mean. One of the reasons I'm doing this to some of these stretchers, some of our Coyotes, they'll stretch down clear to this 5-foot mark. This stretcher is 11 inches wide at the base, so they'll come down nice along here, 9 inches wide, then they have a big flare at the bottom. So I'm going to see how it works out. So let's get them putting one of these things together. We'll just do our Raccoon stretcher. So this is the number 5 stretcher right here. Works good for raccoons. Hopefully you can see this. Take the bolt cutters. I'm going to leave about 1 inch to 1.25 inches of the wire itself left on there. That chunk's gone. One of the places you'll need a pair of pliers is getting these fur hooks off. You got to bend them in quite a bit. To get them around the corners of these things. I'll try this one without bending it. See, it sticks right there. So we're going to take our piece of wood, 30 inches down from the tip, go to the tip of the stretcher. I line my piece of wood up at 30 inches. And I'm going to put a mark on my piece of wood with a pencil that I don't have. Good enough. So I'm going to double check my measurement here. 30 inches to the tip. I'm going to put a little mark here. And I can just measure up from each end of the board. So I got about 1 3/8 inches here. I'll come the same here. Little dot right inside that groove. Take the 1/4 inch drill bit. I'm going to show you one other thing to do. I'm going to drill a hole straight down into that groove. Do the other side. So now another thing on these wire stretchers, that makes a curve right here. It's not a straight 90. So if you just take your drill bit and angle, do a little angle straight in, you can just rotate that up. It basically puts a little angle down through there where the wire fits in a lot nicer. Do the same thing on this side. Insert the wire stretcher. Fits into that groove, doesn't move around very much. Do the same thing on this side. A little tight fit. I think it's because that's not quite a 90. Tap it down in there a little bit. So now I'm going to wrap some duct tape around here. Probably don't even need it down here, or that Gorilla tape, whatever. Literally, that'd probably be enough tape. I don't think those are going to pop out really. I might just let this one just the way it is with one piece of tape. right around the top. Because I don't think I could pull those bottom ones out if I wanted to, for real. And that's it. If you didn't, most of my time was spent cutting those bevels, or just playing those bevels off and cutting that groove in there. But that groove in there is pretty nice, really. I think it's worth my time. But if you don't think it's worth your time, just square cut them. So I'll be able to pin some raccoons on there hopefully this year. Double check. All right, here we go. Finished products, one of each. One fox, one for raccoon, and one for coyotes. I think the coyote one is the one I'm going to be the happiest with, because when they stretched down there, that 11 inches wide was just way too wide. It just seemed, it was a pain sometimes with those things. So it'll be consistent. The one thing I did notice on the coyote one, it turned out to be 7/8 of an inch difference to keep it nice and straight up the middle of the board to the tip. When I say that, by sighting down the middle of this board to the tip to keep that straight, that had to be 7/8 of an inch difference. The fox and the raccoon turned out to be pretty good. Luckily, if I do more, I'm gonna check them out. So, yeah, the fox, it was 7 inches wide, 25 inches down from the tip. So from the tip to here, 25 inches. For the raccoon, from the tip to here was 30 inches. Mine come up to be about 29.5, I believe. No big deal. The board's 7.5 inches wide. And for large coyotes, especially like around our eastern coyotes, 9 inches wide, and it was 39 inches from the tip of the stretcher down to the beginning of the board. So hopefully I'll get to have a nice fox here, a nice raccoon here, and a nice pale coyote stuck on that stretcher this year. So if they work out good for me, I'll be making more, that's for sure. So, but if they turn out to be a pain in my butt, and I won't make any more. All right, thanks for watching. You got any comments, questions, whatever, shoot them at me. I appreciate them. Thanks.